Pretty crowded today. You know, something shocking happened on Tuesday. And you know, it got even more incredible on Wednesday. In fact, the whole week has been a little jaw-dropping. I don't know if any of you experienced this week in that way. Borrowing from Chase, just blink. There's a lot of blinking. But here's the truly shocking thing for me. I didn't spend a single cent on alcohol or drugs this week. Thank you. And just to be clear, I didn't drink or use a single bit either. I don't mean to be judgy. I would totally get it if you drank an entire liquor store on Wednesday morning. And I have to fess up here, I've spent a lot of money doing such things. But I made it through this week, this election, an election 2020, and yes, the election 2016 too, without that. So why do I tell you this? I tell you this because for me, it is a privilege and an honor to be sober, to be reasonably financially healthy, and to share my money with All Saints Church. And that means with you, with this community. My life was very different, but now I get to, and I mean that, I get to donate to this church because I get to align my values and my finances, and I want to be a vehicle of love in the world. I want to be of service in the world, and by giving to this church I can, and I will never take that for granted. So I've come to see that there's indeed spiritual value to money, and I do what I can, intentionally, prayerfully, responsibly, I hope generously. I know that money can be one of the ways we shape God's kingdom here on earth. We heard that in the reading this morning from the gospel. Along with our time and talent, it's how we are God's hands and feet, how we do the work. Just this week, some of you may have seen Richard Rohr's daily meditation on Wednesday. It was apt. It was titled, "Love Takes Commitment," and it quoted from our former presiding Bishop Michael Curry. Now, Reverend Curry didn't exactly say pledge. He did, though, remind us, God so loved the world, he gave. God gave. That's agape, Reverend Curry said. That's love. It's the way to a new world that looks something more like God's dream for us and for all creation. Pause on that for a moment, even now. Giving is the way to a new world that looks something more like God's dream. So today, standing here on November 10, 2024, less than a week after a milestone day in our nation's history, what I see and what I know is that there's work to be done, a lot of it, and maybe we're in for a ride. We are. So I do hear Reverend Curry's charge as an invitation to pledge for me. That's how we're going to do this work. That's how we're going to do it together, to make our ministries possible and to protect the vulnerable, and to fight for justice, to ally with women, with trans people, with people of color, with immigrants and refugees, sick and unhoused, victims of violence and hate. Right here on September 15, 2024, for our centennial commemoration, we heard Bishop Taylor, just over there, tell us that we are needed. All Saints Church is needed. Our voice, our witness, and our work. We struggle too. We know that. We're not perfect. But the world needs our committed and full and active community right now. And it looks like for a while down the road. So I am so proud to be here standing before you, facing this complicated and challenging time head on, being a part of this very special place and very special community. So I invite you to join me. Pledge if you can. Increase your pledge if you can. Spend time and effort and energy here making the world a bit better. This year's campaign is titled Walk in Love. And to me, this is how we can walk in love and work for love now more than ever. Thanks for the chance to share with you today. I'm grateful. Amen.